Hi students, so today we will be studying percent composition. So percent composition. Okay, percent composition is a means for us to know how many percentage of an element can be found in a compound. For example, we have the compound naphthalene. So naphthalene, its molecular formula is C10, C10H8. Yeah, and in percent composition, we want to know how many percentage of naphthalene is made up of hydrogen and how many percentage of naphthalene is actually made up of carbon. Okay, so in understanding and knowing, the percent composition, we will be using this formula. Okay, so first one is N. Percent composition is equals to N. N is the number of atoms. Okay, so for example, number of atoms of carbon, number of atoms of hydrogen in a compound, sorry. And then you need to multiply it by the molar mass of the element itself. Molar mass of the element. I just wrote haba. Okay, divided by the molecular mass or the mass of the compound. And you need to multiply this by 100. Okay, so this one is the formula that we will be using to know the percent composition of naphthalene. Okay, so let's start with naphthalene. So let's study carbon first. Okay, how many percentage of naphthalene is actually made up of carbon? So percentage carbon, okay, is equals to how many atoms of carbon can be found in naphthalene. So we have 10, right? So 10 multiply by the molar mass of carbon. So the molar mass of carbon can be taken from the periodic table of elements. So this one should be 12.01 grams. Okay, and then we need to divide it by the mass of the compound multiplied by 100. Now, for those students who forgot how to get the molecular mass of or the mass of compound, so let's try to refresh this. So this one should be percentage hydrogen. So let's try to compute for the mass of the compound first para hindi kayo malito. So remember, in naphthalene, we have 10 carbon. So we have carbon this should be 10. Okay, 10. Okay, multiplied by the molar mass of the carbon itself, so 12.01. Okay, and then we have hydrogen. We have 8 hydrogen multiplied by its molar mass, so hydrogen is 1.01. Should be 1.01, sorry. 1.01. Okay, and then we get the mass of the compound. So 10, let's just get it, yung the whole answer itself na lang. So we have 10 times 12.01, okay, plus 8 times 1.01 equals 128 and 18. This means that this is the molecular mass, so 128.18 grams. So this is the mass of the compound, so this should be here, 28.18 grams. So now we can calculate for the percentage of carbon in naphthalene. So let's do it. So we have here, we have here in the numerator 10 times 12.01 divided by the mass of the compound, which is 128.18. Okay, so and we need to multiply it by 100. So the answer is 93.69. So let's round it up. So this will become 93.70%. So this means that 93.70% of naphthalene is actually made up of carbon atoms. Okay, let's look for hydrogen. So how many hydrogen can be found in naphthalene? So we have 8, right? Okay, and then we need to multiply it by the molar mass of hydrogen, which is 1.01 grams, and divide it by 128.80 grams, right? Times 100. So let's try to look for the answer. Sorry, just I need to refill this thing. Okay, so should be like this. 8 times 1.01 divided by 128.18. So the answer is this, multiplied by 100. So the answer is 6.30, right? So even if you round it up, 6.30%. So it means that 6.30% is creating up, okay, our naphthalene, and this one is made up of hydrogen. Now, I have here another example for you. So this one is glucose, okay? So I have here glucose. Okay, so the chemical formula for glucose is H12, and then we have 6 oxygen, O6. Okay, we need to know what is the percent composition of carbon, percent composition of hydrogen, and percent composition of oxygen. So let's do it. So let's start with carbon again. Okay, so we have how many carbons here? We have 6 carbons multiplied by the molar mass of carbon, which is 12.01 gram, divided by the molecular weight of our compound, right? And the molecular weight of this is 180.18. Okay, so I already computed this earlier, so if you want to compute, so you can try it on your own. And then this should be multiplied by 100. So if you try to calculate this on your own, the answer should be 39.99, sorry, for 99%. Okay, so this one. Now let's calculate for hydrogen. So in hydrogen, we have 12 hydrogen in glucose, so 12 multiplied by the molar mass of hydrogen, which is 1.01, okay, gram, sorry, I forgot the gram, divided by the mass or the molecular mass of the compound, which is 180.18 gram, multiplied by 100. So this one should be, if you try to compute it, 6.73%. Okay, and let's go get the last one. So we have the last one, which is oxygen. So we need percentage of oxygen is equals to how many oxygen can you find in glucose. So we actually have 6. So 6 multiplied by the molar mass of oxygen, which is 16, or you can use 15.99, but in this one I'm gonna be using 16. Okay, so I round it up. Okay, 16 grams divided by the mass of the whole compound, which is 180.18 grams, and multiplied by 100. So this should be 53.28%. Okay, so this means that even though in glucose, okay, we have so many hydrogen atoms, since hydrogen is actually light, and this one is our lightest element, so it only constitutes for the 6.73% of the whole glucose compound, wherein we have only 6 oxygen and 6 we have 6 carbon, and then we have 6 oxygen. But the differences between these is that oxygen is actually much more heavier than carbon, therefore its percent composition is actually bigger, right? So even though they have the same amount of atoms in glucose, right? So our oxygen constitutes for the 53.28%, right, of our glucose, and only 39.99% is actually made of carbon. Okay, so I hope you learned something today. So I hope you can apply this on your exams. So good luck to all of you, and if you have any questions, you can ask me. Okay, bye.